You ever feel that? That quiet, nagging sense that there must be more to life than just, well, all this? It's a feeling we all get, a hunger, not just for happiness, but for something deeper. Today, we're going to explore that very call to a more meaningful life.
All right, so let's jump right in. This whole exploration really kicks off with one simple but unbelievably powerful piece of advice. Just a single phrase that holds a whole world of wisdom. Become deeper. Get this. This line is from the famous historical Korean drama Jang Geum. There's a scene where a wise medical mentor says this to his brilliant student. Now, she's incredibly skilled and she knows it, but her mentor sees that something's missing. He's not telling her to get better at her job. He's telling her to become a deeper person.
And that's the key right there. This isn't about climbing the career ladder or adding another skill to your resume. It's an invitation to cultivate your inner world, to build the kind of humility and character you need to really handle what life throws at you. That's the core idea we're going to unpack.
So to really get a handle on this whole become deeper thing, the source material gives us this fantastic metaphor, the idea that our lives are basically lived in two completely different worlds.
So, it breaks our existence down into two zones. First, you've got the surface world. Think of it like shallow water. It's everything you can easily see, the daily grind, our basic wants and needs. And look, it's not a bad place. You can spend your entire life just splashing around there. But underneath all of that is the deep world. This is the unseen part, the place where we wrestle with the big questions about truth and meaning and purpose. It's where real character gets built.
Now here's the catch. You don't just accidentally drift into the deep world. Nope. The currents of everyday life will do everything they can to keep you in the shallows unless you make a conscious decision. It takes real, intentional effort. Kind of like a sailor who has to learn the stars and brave the storms to find those incredible hidden treasures. And why bother? Because the really good stuff, wisdom, purpose, it's never found just floating on the surface.
So let's make this a little less abstract. There's this incredible story that just nails this journey from the surface to the deep. It's all about a fisherman named Simon Peter and a moment that absolutely changed everything for him.
So try to put yourself in his shoes for a second. Peter is a pro. I mean, this lake is his office. He knows it inside and out. But he has been working all night long, casting nets, pulling them in over and over. And what did he catch? Nothing. Zilch. Nada. He's exhausted, he's frustrated, and he's feeling like a total failure. And it's right there, at his absolute lowest point, when this guy named Jesus, who's a carpenter by the way, not a fisherman, walks up and tells him to do something that makes zero sense. Go on out into the deep water and let down the nets for a catch.
I mean, just stop and think about that. Why in the world would Peter even listen? He's the expert. He has spent the whole night proving that there are no fish out there. It's completely illogical. It's like an accountant telling a brain surgeon how to operate. And yet, something makes him stop and consider it.
And what he says next is just incredible. You can practically hear the exhaustion in his voice. Master, we've been working our tails off and have nothing to show for it. But then comes that leap of faith. But because you say so, I will do it. In that one moment, he chooses to trust someone else's word over his own lifetime of experience.
And the result of that one act of obedience? Oh, just to catch a fish so massive, so huge, that it fills not one, but two boats so full they actually start to sink. It's a reality-bending moment, and it could only have happened out there in the deep.
But here's the thing, this story was never really about the fish. The biggest, most important thing that happened that day happened inside of Peter. That one trip into the deep completely changed his understanding of who he was dealing with.
You can actually see the change happen in the words he uses. It's fascinating. Before the miracle, he calls Jesus teacher, right? It's a term of respect. But after he sees what happened in the deep, his language completely shifts. He calls him Lord. That's a whole different ballgame. That's not just respect anymore. That's recognizing a divine authority.
And listen to his very next words. He doesn't cheer about the fish. He doesn't high-five his friends. No, he's just hit by this overwhelming wave of awe and a sudden, sharp realization of his own flaws. It's like, in the presence of that power, he saw himself clearly for the very first time.
And that's what the deep really is that place where simply having intellectual respect for an idea breaks down, and it becomes this profound, personal, life-altering encounter. It's the place where theory becomes reality.
So, okay, a line from a K-drama. A story about a fisherman. What does any of this have to do with us right here, right now? Well, it connects directly to a feeling I think we all have deep down.
The source calls this feeling the inner throb. I love that description. It's that spiritual pulse, that restlessness in our hearts that all the distractions and pleasures of the surface world just can't seem to silence. It's that part of us that just knows there's something more, some deeper purpose we're made for.
And this is not a new idea. Centuries ago, St. Augustine said it perfectly. He captured that universal human feeling of restlessness, this inner throb. It's like a compass inside of us, constantly pointing us away from the shallows and toward the one place we can find genuine rest.
And that brings us to the ultimate point here. The good job, the great relationships, all the happy moments, those are wonderful parts of life, but they all exist on the surface. True, lasting fulfillment, the kind that finally quiets that inner restlessness, can only be found when we answer that call to go deeper.
So I'll leave you with a question to think about. That place in your life that feels a little bit risky, the one that requires a leap of faith beyond what you already know, the one that's asking for a little more courage or humility than you think you have. Yeah, that might just be your deep water. So where is the deep for you?